All right, hi everybody, John Meadows here with another chest video. So today we're going to talk about this lower and outer part of your pecs, how to build that specifically. I think there's a lot of confusion on if you can kind of target certain areas of your pecs. A lot of people would say, well, it either contracts or it doesn't. Your whole pec contracts or it doesn't. And yes and no. So yes, it does, but you know, the kind of the short explanation is the origin and the insertion. So the origin, where the muscle originates, is the same, but it inserts all over the place. You have a portion of your pec up here that inserts this way, in your clavicle, your clavicular head. You got a portion here that runs a little different. So my point is the fibers run a little different, so the angle of your exercise will impact the activation of the pec itself. So certain angles create more activation for different parts of the pec. Now, anybody who's trained for a long time will tell you that certain exercises make you more sore in certain places. To me, this is completely common sense. I don't know why there's even a debate over it. So we're going to do this lower and outer area today. So what you have to think about is these fibers down here and the way they run. So they're going to run more from here up through there, right? So what you're going to want to do is you want to shorten the distance between the origin and the insertion. So here and here. I hate using all this anatomy stuff, but you really should understand it. Here and here, so you're going to want to do this. Now what a lot of people do is they do exercises like a cable crossover. They'll do this. That's actually the way these fibers run up here. So we would actually do that more for our upper pecs. For these lower pecs, you're going to want to do something more like this. Now, in my opinion, in 30-some years of training, you're not going to do a bunch of cable stuff to build that area up. So I understand when people say you got to get into the cable crossover and you got to do all this stuff. And anatomically, they're right. But you also can't forget the basics and how you load the muscle. So I'm going to start with a good old-fashioned decline press. Now, I'm going to use a Smith machine because most of the decline benches that I see, the angle is too steep. And I think a real steep angle is hard on your rotator cuff. So what I have set up over here is we got a Smith machine, and I have a 25-pound plate under here. So this is going to give you just a slight decline. We just need a slight decline. Because if you think about it, I'm going to be laying here, but if I was sitting up like this, the press would be more like this. So there is some downward angle. So you're not doing like a crossover, but you're also not pushing up like an incline. So it's a little, you can watch how the bar path is traveling, okay? I want you to use about a medium grip. I don't want you out here. I want you to get a medium grip so you get a nice long stroke range of motion, and boom, okay? So here's a couple reps. All right, so a couple things on the execution there. Notice I was actually touching my chest. A lot of times you guys will see me doing upper pecs and I'll stop short. On these, I actually want you to use a 4 range of motion. I want you to actually go all the way down, stretch your pec, the lower pec, and then come all the way up and flex. I feel like that kind of contraction is really good on the Smith machine, so I actually do like for people to come all the way up and flex. I can already feel the blood just pumping in there right now. The other thing is it's real important where the bar hits. If you start getting the bar hitting up high like that, and you start internally rotating your shoulder when you push, you're going to create a really tough situation for your rotator cuff and your shoulder joint in general. Your shoulder is a very unstable joint, so you have to be really precise with your angles. So I'm taking the bar down to the lower pec, like the nipple area, right here. That's where the bar's touching. If you notice when I got in there, I adjusted the way I was sitting because the bar wasn't coming down the right path. So let me show you this again one more time, another set. Medium grip, right here, okay? Now this is too high, okay? That's too high. I want you right here on the lower pec. All the way up, flex. Lower pec. All the way up, flex. That is exercise number 1. So sets and reps for this. My goal is to get up to a heavy 8. Sometimes I might do a heavy 6 or 7. So I've worked up to 245s on each end. Now, if you follow me, you know I can incline 300 for probably 5 or 6. I'm actually very weak on the decline presses. So that's good. It means I should probably be doing more of these. I'm so weak on these. But I'm thinking I'm going to get somewhere around 6 to 8 with this. So let's see how I end up. So I got 10. That means I probably should have had another 5 or 10 pounds on there. So what I'll do now is I'll actually do another set with a little bit of weight so I get my 8. So you can call that one set. You can count the sets leading up to it. I don't really care. The main thing is that last set has to be really, really hard for 8 reps. All right, exercise number 2, dips. Another good basic movement. Now I like to do these kind of how Vince Guaranda used to do them. So I'm going to come out, I'm going to put my feet out here. As opposed to doing them this way, I want my feet out here and I want to sink into the dip and I want to stretch and then drive up. So it's still that same motion. Now Vince Guaranda used to do these sometimes even like this. That's a little hard on my wrist. So dips just like this. Feet out in front, stretch. If you can come up and flex, that's good. But on this one, I don't really emphasize the flex like I did on the last exercise. If you can get up to about 3/4 of the way up and just keep that tension, on this one I'm more worried about the stretch up to 3/4 of the way. Whereas on the decline, we were coming up all the way and flexing. So let's keep tension on that pec by coming up about 3/4 of the way. I'll knock out a couple more reps. Feet up front, up 3/4 of the way. Right there. And let your elbows flare out to the side a little bit so you can really stretch. 3 sets of those to failure. That's going to be tough. That's exercise number 2. Now another kind of cool option, if you can't do dips, a lot of people have problems with their elbows or shoulders, which I totally understand. This isn't the ideal machine, but I think conceptually you're going to get what I'm talking about. So you can do a press for your pecs on the pad here. So right here, and bring the pad up to your lower chest right here, and bring it down and flex like that. That's actually a great exercise. This machine here, these poles kind of get in the way right here, but you probably have an alternative machine at your gym. So that's another way you can kind of simulate that motion, but it feels really, really good. On those, you're going to do the same thing like you do on the dips. You're going to do like 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. That's something that's real safe to go to failure on, so it's not going to destroy your body. So I would go to failure on those sets as well. Okay, exercise number 3. Now again, remember what I said, you're going to want to pull your arm down like this. So now that we've got our good basic stuff, the presses and the dips out of the way, now we can do this cable stuff. It's a good finisher. We can pump a lot of blood in there. We're also going to use this to stretch like we did on the dips. But again, like I would never use this as my main meat and potatoes movement for lower pecs. I think you'd be spinning your wheels. But done at this point in the workout, I think it's pretty effective. So we're pulling from up high, and we're going to lean and stretch and you're gonna pull down this way, okay? So not here, you're actually coming down, right here. Stretch, down. Right there, so down, flex. Now, I just kind of did a demo set on each exercise, and I have a crazy pump right now in my lower outer pecs. So that's it for today. Give this a try. Tell me if you feel it as good as I'm feeling right now. And if you like the videos, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.